Thanks for watching this channel. So here on this channel, we're constantly talking about education and how important it is. But what is education? It's a concept that I really had to really consider after I really started watching a lot of Glendon Cameron's videos. I've learned so much, and it really caused me to reconsider my views on what education was. I remember 5-10 years ago, matter of fact, I remember back in high school, I spent a lot of time and energy thinking about what college I was going to go to. I was one of those kids. I wasn't even an A student. I really wasn't. I was an okay. I think I was a BC student. And I remember thinking that education was so important because it was going to set you up for life. It was going to give you entry into a good school, and focusing on education was going to, it was going to do so many different things for you. It was going to set you up for a good job, and then that was the right track because I went to a really nice prep school, and so that's what I was really thinking about, was that education was going to be so valuable. And I still feel like that to this day. It's 2015, and I still feel like education is invaluable. But what I really had to consider is there's other forms of education out there besides school. And so I think that that's a very weighty concept that might challenge people's beliefs in a lot of different areas. But it's something I've had to think so long about that I've realized I truly believe that. There's so many forms of education out there that people don't recognize, and they don't realize, and they don't acknowledge. Now school, K-12 school, college, grad school, PhD, all that kind of stuff, that's important. But it's only vital for those career fields that you have to have advanced degrees in to get them. Lawyers, doctors, so many different areas. But for fields out there nowadays that don't require those advanced degrees, is education in the school system really necessary? Think about it. Is it really? Now, keep in mind, I've got a journalism degree from the University of Georgia. I loved college. College was a lot of fun. I learned a lot in college. But did I need a degree in my field to become a journalist? In 2015, the answer, as far as I'm concerned, is no. I didn't need a degree in journalism. With that said, I salute my school. I think it was a great choice for me personally because I learned a lot of different things. But I didn't learn all that much from the journalism school about starting a business. I didn't learn all that much from the journalism school about how to survive in corporate America. I didn't learn that much at the journalism school about the things that was going to make me successful in the real world. I learned at the School of Journalism how to write an AP style, which is how to be a journalist. I learned some stuff that you might learn on the job, but I did that by taking initiative during my schooling years and going out seeking internships and going out and working for newspapers and writing for the school newspaper and online publications. I didn't learn all that much in class. Now, I'm not saying that there's something wrong with a journalism degree. What I am saying is most degrees are not going to prepare you for the real world. And you'll see on YouTube there's hundreds and thousands of videos with people corroborating with what I'm saying. I'm not downing the education system. As a matter of fact, I think education is vital. You gotta have it. But what I do feel is that the education system, at least presently here in America, it's designed to do something that's not going to fully prepare you for the real world. And so there's a disconnect, because there's a lot of people out there that are getting degrees. They're spending 4 years, 8 years in college. They'll go back for an undergrad degree. Well, they'll go for an undergrad degree, then they'll go back for a grad school degree, then they'll go back and they'll spend 10 years in school after high school with no real world experience. Keep in mind, I'm not downing these people. I'm just saying this happens. Plus they come out with student loan debt, and they're up to their eyeballs in student loan debt. Then they go get a job for the first time at 30, 32 years old, and they're unprepared for how to succeed in the real world because they've never had any real world experience. And that's tough, because then there's all sorts of on-the-job training that they have to get well into adulthood, and they're unprepared for how to succeed in the real world. They don't know how to talk to people. They don't really know how to sell. They don't know how to get along with coworkers that maybe haven't had the amount of advanced schooling, but have had to survive in the real world and deal with corporate America and deal with, you know, all of the different things that come with the real world. I've got several years of work experience now. I chose to not go back for a grad school degree. I was a good enough student. I could have went and got I could have went back and got an advanced degree in business or business administration or communications. I could have done that. I chose not to do that. And for me personally, it was a great decision. And you know, you gotta weigh the pros and the cons of the education system, because generally when you are going for those advanced degrees, why most people go is so that they can get the promise of making more money at some point in the future. You're going to go to an undergrad degree and you're going to make X amount of dollars when you graduate, generally. But then, you know, and I got to credit this to Glendon Cameron for, he always mentions it, you know, you're going to leave undergrad, and there's people that are working at Starbucks and, you know, relatively minimum wage jobs that have degrees. And it's like, when you really think about that, it's like, damn, that's kind of messed up. And yet people out there who are qualified to do so much more, they're doing just this. And it's like, why are they doing just this? Because a lot of times some of these, you know, places of employment that actually are hiring people, sometimes they can find what they're looking for in somebody who doesn't have a degree. It's almost like you don't need a degree to do some jobs, and yet the best jobs that people can get sometimes are, you know, okay jobs, and they have degrees. And it's like the stuff that they went to school for, they're having a hard time finding a degree. They're having a hard time finding that job. And it's like, sometimes it has to do with the fact of they didn't learn what they need to do to get a good job and to succeed in the real world. And so some of the stuff that they need, you need strong interview skills. You need to be able to talk to people. You need to be able to really have a conversation and sit down with somebody and talk, and not just about work and not just about business. You need to be able to talk to them about their day, how things are going, what, you know, their struggles are, what their problems are, how you might be able to help them. You need to be able to talk to people about, you know, their kids and ask them the names and that kind of stuff. You need to be able to talk weather. You need to be able to talk social issues, political issues. You need to be able to talk about esoteric values and certain things. And you need to be able to listen. You got to be able to listen to what other people are saying and what they think. And there's so many people out there who are stunted socially that they have no idea about anything going on around them. And so that is a terrible situation to be in. But I think the education system, the way that it's set up here in America, it is set up in such a way that it allows for that to happen. And so that's why you have a lot of like the, and I don't want to just pick out one degree. I just want to say in general, you have so many people that that don't know how to interact socially, and that's something that's incredibly valuable. That's an incredibly valuable characteristic and skill that you need to have to succeed in today's world, and so many people don't have it. So many people don't have that, and it's no wonder why our education system is failing so many people out there in the world. And that's what I mean when I say, what is education? I'm saying it's beyond just school. It's beyond just college and degrees. So when I ask, what is education? Education can be so many different things. It could be experience on the job. It can be you going for an internship and you just learning stuff every single day. You asking questions, you learning on the job while you're actually doing it, making mistakes in a controlled environment where, you know, you're not really getting paid to do it, but you're learning. That's a good, that's honestly, on the job training is how I learned how to write. One of the things that I did when I was back in high school, and I got to credit my high school GFS to this, up in Philly. It's a really good prep school that I feel like really helped to prepare me for what I was going to experience in college. I can't really say the real world because it just didn't mirror the real world as I've experienced it. But I can say that GFS helped prepare me for college in a great way. And one of the things that they had us do back in high school, I think our junior year, was what they called a junior project, where you actually would, as the student, you're a high school student now, you would decide an area that you wanted to learn more about. And for a full month, the month of January, you would actually reach out as a high school student. Now, this is challenging for high school students. You would reach out to various companies and ask them for an internship, and you would take ownership of that activity. So as a high school student, you'd actually reach out and say, hey, I'd love to come and learn from you during the month of January, just 1 month, just so I can see what I can, you know, I can offer you some skills, I can offer you some work, I can sit down with you, and you know, hopefully you would be open to that. And I chose to actually intern at a local newspaper up in Philly. I'm not sure if it still is around, called the Mount Airy Times. And that was my first internship. I think I was 16 years old, 17, 16, 17. And I was there for a month. And I learned more from that internship. I have some long-lasting friendships that I established there, business contacts that I met when I was 16 years old that I still call upon 11 years later. This is the kind of stuff that's incredibly more valuable, in my opinion, than some of the classroom lessons you're going to learn in school or in college. And I think so many people don't even give themselves the opportunity to do internships and on-the-job training, not because they're lazy, but because they don't know the value of it. They've never been exposed to it. Nobody's ever sat down and told them that you need to get on-the-job training. And so from that perspective, I feel like a lot of that blame should go to our society and to the American education system, because that's something that we should be prepared for. And I can't say, oh, well, they didn't do it, so screw them. It's like the education system needs to be revamped here in America. And there's so much stuff out there that can still help educate you, however, that it's incumbent upon you to go out and seek that education, at least until the system is revamped. And so that's how you can turn to YouTube and learn more about doing shit on YouTube than you can from some of the best colleges in the country. You know, I applied to 6 different colleges back when I was in high school, and I got rejected from 2 of them. 4 of them I got accepted to. 2 of them were Ivy League schools, and I got nothing against it, but I can honestly say, even if I went to an Ivy League school, I'd still be saying the same thing right now. School is good, but there's so much more out there that can help you in terms of preparing yourself for the real world and succeeding in today's society. So education is way more than just, you know, a degree. It's way more than just going to college. On-the-job training is very important. But even aside from on-the-job training, going to somebody else's job and doing it, there's other forms of education. Failure. is a form of education. Starting a business and failing. Most people who start businesses have to start 5, 6, 7 businesses before they really have success. At this point in my life, I think I've started about 5 or 6 businesses. I've done so many different things. I started a photography business. I've had a tutoring business. I've got a Burns Media and Publishing, writing, media creation business. I have done so many different things, but every time I do something and fail, I learn more. And I'm starting to see results based off of what I've done, but it's based off of the experiences of failing. So failure is a great form of education, because basically when you fail, you feel, ooh, don't want to do that again. Don't want to go through the consequences and ramifications of effing up, basically. So failure is an incredible form of education that a lot of people discredit, discount, don't even know to acknowledge. There's so much more than just going to college and getting a degree. And I don't want to rag about, you know, how college sucks, because college is great for a lot of different things. College is great to put you around peers and really form long-lasting bonds. You can't, you know, there's some places where you can't even experience some of the things that you experience in college. College is great for the first time you get away from home, you know, into your early adult years. You're 17, 18 years old, you graduate high school. Most people want to get away from home, you know, at least people that I know. So a lot of people go away to different cities and sometimes, you know, states for college. That's something that's beneficial about college, but there's so many disadvantages to college. Student loan debt. Most people take out $15,000 to $20,000 in student loan debt. You can look up the stats on that. When I came out of college, I had a good amount of student loan debt that I'm still paying off, by the way, 6 years later. So there's advantages and there's disadvantages to going to school. But the main point about this video was that there's so many different forms of education out there that it's insane. It's funny that a lot of people value education, but so many Americans hate to read. Isn't that funny? That's hilarious to me, because everybody's talking about, oh, go to school, but then you talk to college students who are in school and you ask them what they've read lately, and they can't even tell you the name of the book that's required for the class. They try and make it through classes without even getting the assigned, you know, reading material. And I'm going to talk to you from personal experience, because I was one of those students. I have been a writer for a long time, 15 years. I've been a journalist for a long time, but I remember when I was back in college, I wasn't thinking like I'm thinking now. I was thinking about, oh, well, I shouldn't have to pay for this, and let me try and get this on the low, and this and that, in terms of my books, my educational materials. I didn't see the real value in reading. I didn't have enough time to. College is difficult. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's not worth anything. What I am saying is that so many people don't understand what they're really supposed to get out of college, that they are not in a good position to get what they could get out of college, so it's no point in being there, especially when you're racking up student loan debt. So one of the things that I believe is that if you don't know what you want to do after you graduate, you might want to just take a year off. And I remember that's completely contradictory to the way that I was thinking back when I was in high school. I remember from an elitist perspective thinking anybody who took time off after they graduated, it wasn't a smart move. But I have completely changed my perspective on it, and I'm glad that I've had the experiences that I've had. I don't believe that somebody who graduates high school should just live with their mom for a year and do nothing. I do think in terms of something that would be beneficial, if you graduate high school and you're not sure what you want to do, not sure what's next for you, I would recommend this. I would recommend going on YouTube and on the internet and doing as much as you could possibly do to better educate yourself in areas that you might have an interest, because there's a lot of free material out there. I'd recommend that to start with. Learning, whether it's photography, whether it's website creation, marketing, whether it's psychology, whether it is whatever it is, I would recommend looking online and looking up lectures, reading audiobooks, hearing audiobooks, reading books, going to the library. There's so much stuff that's out there for free. I'd recommend that. I'd recommend spending at least 2 months after graduation just doing that locally, figuring out what it is that you're interested in. I'd recommend that. I'd also recommend learning a little bit about geography, learning about the world, learning about the way the world works, learning about politics, social issues, getting yourself involved. I wouldn't spend too much time with traditional media, so meaning TV. I wouldn't check out so much TV because the media can really warp your sense of reality. So I wouldn't necessarily go the way of TV, but I would consume things on the internet. I would consume content, videos, podcasts, audiobooks, read. I would go to the library. Yeah, I spent a lot of time these last 2 or 3 years going to the library and educating myself, because out there's a lot of ignorance, and you need to be more involved no matter where you are in terms of your education level. There's nothing that can be lost by going to the library and reading a book. That's one of the best things you can do to improve yourself. There's so many different areas that I have read about over the last couple of years for myself going to the library. Marketing, politics, social issues, business creation, investing, wealth building, everything. There's just travel. I mean, there's so many different things. And I would also say the next thing is, once you've kind of learned a little bit about geography and, you know, the way the world works and social issues, I would consider traveling on a budget, because now is the time. You're 20 years old, 21, 22. Now's the time to experience the world. You might even be younger. You might be 17, 18 after you get out of high school. I mean, now's the time to really start experiencing the world and traveling and seeing how things are, especially if you've lived a relatively sheltered life. There's nothing wrong with living a sheltered life up until a certain point, because, you know, you might have some really good parents that have just really kind of kept you from the harsh realities of the world. But when you're 17, 18, you're finishing high school, now might be a good time to kind of experience the world the way it really is. And so it is important to travel safely and on a budget, but that's valuable form of education about the world. You can read a lot about the world in a book. You can see a lot of the world on YouTube, but seeing it firsthand is vital. I had the privilege to go visit China when I was in high school. Again, I gotta credit my high school for that. They had it was a great experience. I got a chance to visit China. This summer I went over to Europe, went to Italy, France, Rome, got a chance to see those places. There's so much more traveling that I'd like to do, and you know. So the last video actually cut off on me while I was recording it, and so what I wanted to do was really just properly finish the video. I was ranting a little bit, and I wanted to really just continue talking about the education system and what I recommend to people out there who maybe are young and they've been told that the education system, meaning college, is the next step for them. But they're not so sure that that's the next step for them at this time. And just to continue along with what I was talking about, and my recommendation to somebody who's young, maybe 17, 18, 19 years old, or maybe even 20, 21, 22, just got out of high school, or maybe they're even in community college and they're taking a few courses and they feel like, I'm not really learning much of anything, or I'm not sure if what I'm learning is going to help me do what I want to do, or I'm not sure what I want to do. Or I've been told this is what I should do, but I know I want to do something that's not this. I want to do something different. So somebody in that boat, somebody who really doesn't know what they want to do, or they're not completely sure, I was saying it's very important once you get out of high school, really while you're in high school, let's be real here. The earlier you get your education, the better. So, and again, education is more than just going to college. If you can get to the library early on and read and consume information, I would recommend that. There's so many better things at the library that you can find than on TV, than on certain sections of the internet, than you can at parties, Not saying don't have fun. I had a hell of a lot of fun back in college, but what I am saying is you have to balance that out. Balance is extremely important, and it's vitally important to your long-term future to really tune out the bullshit, because there's so much bullshit in today's society, and there's so much bullshit that the media and the internet pushes on you. So it's important to kind of tune that out a little bit and to consume education in its various forms and facets. And I would recommend, number one, going to the library and also consuming information on the internet. So many different free places for you to find information. Next, I recommend travel. And I was saying in the previous clip that I've had the opportunity to travel some, and I can't wait to continue to travel more. I would also put a caveat out there. Travel is not just going to foreign countries. And I think that's the first thing that Americans often think, oh, well, I've been here, I've been there, I get to go here, there's so much more than just going to Europe. There's so much more than just going to Asia. There's so much more than Africa out there. There's a lot of different things that are right here at home. There are 50 states, and most Americans have never been to all 50. I mean, if you were actually to poll how many people have been to all 50 states, you'd probably hit less than 5%. I've looked up stats on this before. This is a fact. There is a huge portion of the American population that essentially is born in a state and never leaves the city they were born in, with the exception of maybe a day trip. And they've never stayed overnight outside of their city. There are people who go straight into their adult years and, live their entire adult lives and die and have never left their state. That's really, really something that I don't think is going to be beneficial for most people. I don't want to tell people how to live their lives, but, this video was made in response to lots of questions that are out there. Sometimes I get these questions and they're behind the scenes. I get messages, oh, what should I do? I'm not sure what I want to do. I'm young, or some people are older and they're still not certain what they want to do. This video was also made in response to a growing need that doesn't come directly to me. I see videos, I see comments, I see questions out there in the universe. And so I feel it's important to speak on those things. So there's a lot of people out there that are not sure what to do or why to do what they're hearing on the sides. Maybe education's not the right way, maybe there's a better way, maybe starting a business. I mean, there's so many different things out there that people aren't sure what to do. And so from that lens, that perspective, that's where education comes in. Ignorance is the biggest danger to your freedom, to your sanity, to your independence. Ignorance is a huge danger, and you really don't want to be in that boat. So how do you get around ignorance? Education. Those are some things that I would recommend to anybody who's in this boat presently and is not quite sure what to do. I would also highly recommend some of the free tools and some of the paid tools that are out there. We've talked a lot about free, but there are tools out there for somebody who may want to step up their game and really learn on a budget. Because when you consider the massive financial investment that's required for education, at least the traditional college route here in the States, we're talking, again, even at a community college, a few $1,000s to several $1,000s. At some of the nation's quote-unquote best, we're talking $35,000, $40,000, sometimes even $50,000 just for undergraduate. When you get to grad school, it gets even more expensive. And so you can look at $80,000 to $100,000 in student loan debt. I am not exaggerating. I know exactly what I'm talking about. I've seen it. The average cost of education here in the States is 5 digits. Sometimes can hit 6 digits. So when we start talking about on a budget, this is what we mean. And so here at Burns Media and Publishing, one of the things that we do is we offer educational materials. That is our goal. If you see our About page, we write, we teach, we publish, all for you. You want to make more money, get your free time back, strengthen your hustle skills, and improve your life. Learn with us. We'll teach you. That's what you'll get here at Burns Media and Publishing. And so we have all sorts of educational materials out there, whether you're looking to improve your resale business, whether you're looking to learn more in general. We have that kind of stuff out there. And so we have educational materials here at the Burns Media and Burns Media and Publishing Gumroad store. We have things on time management for entrepreneurs, how to make it in 24 hours or less. Again, reselling. We have a community where you can actually join and be around like-minded individuals. Everybody who is, out there and they're trying to figure out what the next step is, what to do. Should I go to school? Should I start a business? Should I start a group? What should I do? This is the kind of stuff that this is what you're going to be around in this group. And it's crucial at this time in your life. If you're watching this video and you're not sure what to do next, now is the time to surround yourself with like-minded people, people who are on the right path, whose minds have been open to the fact that there may be other things out there, that education is important, that they want to be around people who are just like them, that are going to go to libraries and read, that are going to search the internet and scour for information that can help them improve not just their businesses, but their lives. They're going to go to motivational seminars and listen to inspirational speakers, that are going to invest in themselves to actually move to the next level, that are actually going to work on things that can, work on items and projects and products that can help the world. When you're talking about that, you're talking about very ambitious concepts, because very few people here in America care about helping other people. But here at Burns Media and Publishing, we do. And so that's what you can actually find. So I think this video, this rant, has kind of touched on so many different things. What is education? We've touched on, does education work? I think it does. But do I think it's for everybody straight out of high school? No. I think a resounding no. I don't think it's for a lot of people straight out of high school. I think they need to figure out who they are, what they like, what they don't like, what they're good at, what they're not good at, what suits their personality. I think there's so many things that you need to learn about yourself after you graduate high school, and really through high school, after you graduate it. And on that path when you're 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and in your early to mid 20s, I think you need to kind of find yourself. And I think college can be a great place to find it, but you need to have some sort of direction. I think that's what the education system is kind of failing our youth with. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Yeah, I've got some things out there that might be able to help you. Even if you don't decide to purchase some of my products, there's other materials out there that are phenomenal in terms of helping you. I'll give you one resource right here. His name is Glendon Cameron. I would definitely check out some of his videos. I watch him. He's a mentor for me. I would definitely tell you to check out his channel, The Hustler's Mindset Project. He has a phenomenal product offering. It's a platform called hustlerskungfu.com. I'm a member. I'm an affiliate for him. So let me, in full transparency, let you know I'm an affiliate for his Hustlers Kung Fu project. It is phenomenal. It has improved my life in many different ways. And Glendon Cameron is another person I'd recommend if you're out there and you're not sure what to do. Thanks for watching. Take care and have a great day.